What's good, people? This is the Rap Roundtable. Your boy Jarv here, Sincere the Rap Snob, Dini the Balance, the homie Mace. We just want to make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, help us get our numbers up. We're trying to get 2,000 subs, 5,000. Y'all know how this go. If y'all think we're good and y'all love the content, some of y'all always say, yo, how come y'all don't have more views? It's because y'all don't sub. So make sure y'all do that and tap in with us. Peace.
The Rap Roundtable.
What's good, people? It's the Rap Roundtable here. Your boy Jarv alongside Sincere the Rap Snob, alongside Dini the Balance, alongside the homie Mace. Pusha T has finally delivered the most anticipated album to date thus far.
Finally here.
It's Almost Dry. It's finally here. I get this sneaking suspicion that this is going to be a very, very polarizing album for hip hop across the board. I don't know. I feel like this album is either you're gonna love it or you're gonna be very disappointed. I don't think anyone's gonna hate it, but it's somewhere between love and disappointment. So I'll get out the way. At first I was like, I wanted to go first, but I'm gonna save my takes because I want to hear from my brothers. So Mace, jump in here, bro. It's Almost Dry. It's out. What is your reaction to this album?
First shot. I feel honored, y'all.
Hey,
but it's Almost Dry. Most anticipated, maybe of the past couple years, to be honest with you. A lot of things headed into the album, what I was thinking about, how it was gonna go. I'm gonna say this. Great album.
Okay.
First couple listens, great album. Top-notch rap performance, solo performance, top-notch production. If you want me to keep it real. We'll start with this. The intro, after I say it was a great album, right? The intro wasn't really what I was expecting. You know, I will say this. I enjoyed the song. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed Pusha coming and addressing something that had been on DJ Vlad, the Anthony Gonzalez interview. It was something that we were all wondering about. And it was something that needed addressing, if you will. Maybe I'm bugging y'all. I feel like the Neptunes had a stronger showing than Kanye on this album, guys. I feel like the Neptunes, and I absolutely did not expect this. Take you guys behind the curtain. None of us really expected this.
Right.
But I will say this is the best that I've heard Pharrell on a complete album since Hell Hath No Fury, in my opinion.
Wow.
Multiple rap beats. I really enjoyed the Neptune's production on here. Ye, just like I said, his production on point. Features were a little mid for me. If you want me to keep it real. Back to his production though, and I may be coming from left field with this. Just so Dreaming of the Past. These are the type of beats that I want to hear if he's actually doing this Supreme Clientele 2 that has been talked about for over and over. I really appreciated where Ye went on this, even though I thought the Neptunes were a little bit better. Now, Pusha's rap performance, and this may get me banned from the show, y'all, but I heard Biggie flows. I heard a little bit of Hove on Young, Gifted, and Black. I hear a little bit of 50 Window Shopper. A lot of people were saying that was from the joint with him and Hove. Yeah, I even heard some Prime Mace flows, guys. I heard it. I heard it.
Yo,
Mace heard some flows.
Jarvis sick right now. Jarvis about to cut your
bad
video,
boy
bro.
Stan. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an insult. Everybody loves Mace. You know, now let me not ramble too much. Everybody got to speak on this, but I will say this: the obvious comparisons to Daytona. I haven't lived with this album long enough to give you, this is better, that's better. But I will say this: the quality was there. The range surpassed Daytona to me. Not as cohesive necessarily, but I feel like Daytona didn't have any expectations coming in. We came in, we heard it, we were like, this is great. We were waiting on this. So the fact that in my mind it delivered a large portion of what I wanted. I won't say all of it. It's not a classic, I don't think, but great album. top notch. I appreciate pushing back in effect. You know, the production was nice. How y'all feeling about it, fellas? I'm over here rambling, going on and on. Like, how y'all feel about this?
Yo, Dini, jump in, son. I see your face, bro. Jump in.
It was all right, man. It was all right. It was all right. It definitely picked up. All right, maybe let me explain.
Speak your truth, Dini. Don't clean it up.
Not explain as far as clean up. Explain as far as elaborate. Let me elaborate. I listened to the album. I gave it the 12 a.m. spin through the headphones, and lyrically, I was very impressed. As you said, he touched on the Angel Gonzalez situation. We seen the Biggie flows, we seen the whole flows, we seen Mace flows, got a little bit of 50, as you said, Macito. But bro, them beats was not hitting like that, bro. Tapped in this morning, my man S. Dot pulled up, and shot my man S. Dot pulled up on me in the auto. We blasted it in the auto. It picks up towards the half, man, but it's negative. It's not what I thought it was gonna be. I feel like, first of all, it's not album of the year. That conversation's dead. And I feel like your next project should be better than your last. I right before I got out the car, I was like, do me a favor, play Daytona. And the feel I left the car with listening to this Summer Daytona, that's the feeling I wanted to get from this album. And like I said, it's Pusha T. Lyrically, we're gonna be wild. It's Pusha T. It was the production. The production got better towards the end. Features were lackluster. Shout out to Don Toliver and Uzi. I thought that was dope. The Kid Cudi record was dope, but not because of Kid Cudi, because of Pusha T. Even the way it starts, Bramble. I thought Bramble was all right. You get what I'm saying? The flows, the flow, just like how I felt about the joint with Hove. I felt like the ball work was impeccable. I just felt like the way it was packaged and given to us was just, at least in the beginning of the album, it picked up a lot better towards the end. Towards the end, it's a lot better music. But as a total project, I thought it was cool, man. For a Pusha album, I didn't think it met the standard, though. Y'all tell me what y'all think.
Disappointed. I am a rap snob. Now I'm confused and conflicted and concerned.
Oh no, I'm kind of... Man, I guess the order of these takes is
descending.
Well, no, the order of these takes is a good order because I'm kind of torn between Mace and Dini right now.
Okay, pause.
I'm kind of in between. Damn, bro, how you reach for that one, man? All right, jeez. You reach for that one.
Round table.
I'll take it. Pause. Anyway, we getting sidetracked. But I feel what Mace is saying. I think the production. I'll start with the production first. Every time, at least these days, when I first go into a new album or project, I always listen for production first to see, if it gets me in the right mood, in the right vibe, energy. I like Brambleton as a tone setter. Dini was a little disappointed with it. I think it was a good tone setter. It doesn't really feel like an intro. And
doesn't.
I was thinking one of the things I don't like about this album, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but the sequencing is a little to me, album sequencing is super important. I felt like the sequencing could have been stronger. I also kind of miss albums with dedicated intros. You know what I mean? Not just a first song, but an actual intro song that gets you,
set the
in
tone.
That zone, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's an intro skit, I almost kind of miss intro skits too, just talking your shit. But it is what it is today in the streaming era. You know what I mean? Skits are not. Nobody's gonna put a skit on a playlist or something like that. So I understand artists just want to get right to the songs. But he did touch on that situation I was talking about. I felt that. The next song, Let the Smoker Shine, I didn't like that song. I tried.
Midgard.
That was so. I mean, Pharrell had a strong showing on this album, but that was not one of the strong showings. That was one of the Pharrell beats. I thought it was a Kanye beat at first. And then I looked at the credits and I'm like, Pharrell did this? I don't know. Dreaming of the Past. This is right down my alley with the Donny Hathaway sample and flip. Kanye in his bag. But I do kind of wish there was a little more to the beat, maybe some bass. And we talked about this when we were talking about Diet Coke. It needed a little bit more bass, more bottom, a little bit. Yeah, just a little something.
Oh,
but,
okay.
You know, Flip is dope. You know what I mean? Neck and Wrist we already talked about. But when it gets to just so you remember, that's what I needed. Just so you remember, that is my shit.
That should have been the intro,
bro. Yo, the way is just like so simple. Just it's all bottom, it's all bass, but that's all it needed, and some simple drums just for him to get his shit off and talk his shit in black on the track. That was my shit. Rock and roll skip. Call My Bluff.
Fire.
Call My Bluff. This is where I'm torn between Mace and Dini, because at first I was like, I'm not really digging this song too much. I guess because of the laid back delivery, like sounding a little bit like Mace. But I find it interesting that this is like topic wise and content wise, probably the hardest song on the album. He was talking a lot of hard, grimy shit on this. But with the laid back Mace flow, that shit was hard to me. Scrape It Off, super skip.
Damn.
Facts.
Get Bert out of here. Get Don Toliver out of here. Get the whole song out of here. Here we clearly we had already heard that. Open Air is probably my other favorite song besides Just So You Remember. I thought that song was hard, but then the outro was it just kind of ended on a whimper. It was like, I don't know, that last song was like kind of mid-guard to me, to quote Deanie's bars. That last song was mid-guard, and I feel like your last song should really make a statement, like it should punctuate the album, and it just didn't do that for me.
So Malice being there wasn't enough, Sin?
Nah,
you know the comments are gonna be tight about that.
No, I understand that, but
it wasn't no malice, it was malice.
Right.
Back.
And I appreciate, the them getting back in the mix together, but as a package, as a song, like it just didn't hit to me. You know what I mean? I got some more notes, but I'm a send it over to the job now.
Wow, fellas.
The PG.
At the top of the episode, we said that this album was going to be polarizing. And I guess I got to complete the set by saying that, in my opinion, where we had with Daytona was the low budget film that became classic. A cult classic. Kind of like a Batman Begins. Then the studio realized we got something here. Put the money up for the big budget sequel. And to me, it's Almost Dry is the big budget sequel. For better or worse, it's the big budget sequel. I'm kind of with Sincere. I'll go even above. I love Brambleton. I love the tone set, because to me, in most big budget films, they don't give you time to breathe. They hit you with the opening stanza running. You hit the ground running. At this point, if you decide to download a Pusha T album and you don't know what to expect, you need an intro that there's something wrong here. You know exactly what you came here for. Pusha T treated this as if you buy my album and you stream it, whatever the case may be, you know what you're gonna get. Brambleton is that. Excuse me. I think the beat is immaculate. I love the beat from Brambleton. Yeah. I love the tone that the Neptune set. It let us know that, because I assumed that Kanye would bat lead off, but for obvious reasons, right?
Right.
We gave it to Neptunes. To me, this is a Neptunes album with some trappings from Kanye West. I'm gonna piggyback on Sin though. To me, the pacing of the album is my biggest gripe. Sometimes the song ends, the beat kind of fades out, and then it transitions into the next song, and it feels right. This album did not play well for me, song by song by song by song. It didn't feel good. Like, I liked some of these songs. I like a lot of these songs, but it didn't feel right. But I will give it a big compliment. As far as coke rap, that genre, a lot of times, I would say up until last night, this morning, coke rap had a certain bit of a sound. It was the argument that me and Sin always have about lo-fi, the samples, drums or no drums. To me, it's Almost Dry. Sonically, is the new standard for coke rap going forward. To me, he's showing a lot of these rappers, like the Bennys, the Gibbs and them of the world, that you don't have to rap on these particular beats to get certain messaging across. Again, this is the most gloss I've ever heard on a coke rap album ever. And that was by design. I'm not mad at that. We need 3 verses, y'all.
That's a fact.
Yes,
these songs are way too short.
Yes.
These songs are way too short. And sometimes, like, the beat is knocking and I just want to hear the beat, you know what I mean? Just play out for maybe like 30 seconds or so. Let me ride to it. But then they just cut it. And that's across the board, yo. That's not just a knock on Pusha T's album. Yeah. This is straight across the board.
We need 3 verses.
3 verses and let the beat ride a little bit, man. Stop cutting it right.
Nice.
Yeah, I hate that shit, man.
Get rock and roll out of here. Y'all know how I feel about Kid Cudi, and I try to be as objective as possible. But get that song the hell out of here. That belonged on one of them Donda albums. It didn't belong here.
The one we didn't hear, right?
Also, the last song, "Pray for You," also
Donda
sounds like a Donda cutting room floor song.
Like the Sonics of the album 1 through 11, they fit like beat for beat. They fit. Pacing is a different conversation.
Yeah.
The outro with Malice came out of left field. It didn't belong.
Yeah. It didn't.
Listeners, we're not trying to pan Malice. Don't make this about Malice. It's about the song.
Yeah.
You can't tell me 11 vibes a certain way, and then you give me track 12, which is the outro with some kind of church and holy kind of feel, and you know it don't belong there. I'm not saying that you don't know, right? And then because again, Dini and I we're very similar. We like the vibe. I love that.
I like it.
It's pretty clear that Pusha T is trying to be a bigger act. Forget the coke rap. To me, a lot of the messaging in this album was about he believes he's the best, right?
Yes.
And I felt like this album, sonically, he was trying to make that semi-crossover attempt to where he could comfortably say he's the best while moving some units. Because anytime he says he's that dude, people say, well, nobody listens to you. He tried to make songs that people would want to listen to. Hence, Neck and Wrist and all these songs that people get mad about. But I will say this to you, Dini. I went back to Daytona, right? I always tell y'all, Santeria, What Would Meek Do, Infrared. When you got that 3-peat, you knew that album was something else. We don't have that 3-peat on this album anywhere on this album. It's not there. We had some near moments, but as far as
2-piece
critically acclaimed combination platters, when you already had fire before it, it's not here, y'all. And I hate to be that guy, but I will give it a caveat because this album is polarizing. This album did not have to be Daytona. It was never meant to be better or anything else critically than Daytona. This was about
it's what's next to come.
Be a bigger star. Did he accomplish
Let me jump in
that?
real quick.
Huh?
Let me jump in real quick.
Do you think?
Because this goes back to the sequencing and pacing. If you think about all the landmark albums, classic albums, like you have a moment in the sequencing of the album where you get a 3-piece, maybe a 4-piece, like there's songs that just one leads into the next, and you're listening to it and you're like, oh, that shit was fire,
right?
And then the next one comes and you're like, oh shit, this shit just up the ante, and then the next one comes and it's like, oh shit, like. You get
to the point you won't even listen to the album. You'll literally sometimes you just go to those straight 4 cuts, listen to those 4 cuts, and then to something else.
Right, but that builds up the lore of the album. Even if it's not like a
great album,
bona fide, even if it's not a bona fide classic, the fact that you have those sequences, those chunks, like it always builds up. What the album is, and here, like like Jar was saying, like I was saying. It's just the sequencing is not there. Like I'll hear one song, like I'll hear, Just So You Remember, and then Diet Coke, but then Rock and Roll.
It was close. This close.
Oh man.
Anyway, he was going for this. He was going for the streams. He was trying to find that sweet spot in between critical acclaim and getting his streams up. And this is where we gotta pat ourselves on the back, because I feel like I know we'll all agree with this. And Mace, I'm gonna come to you to follow up. When we heard that Pusha T, yes, said that Pharrell was gonna be producing half of this album because he wanted his man to not be a mixtape rapper. We all had concerns. Part of the issue with the pacing is because, creatively speaking, what Kanye does when he has his hands on an album and what Pharrell does when he has his hands on an album are completely different. It's hard to put an album together when you have two distinct sounds clashing. They tried their best to make it work, but Mace, like, do you think that their distinct sounds conflicted with what the album could have been pacing wise?
And see, that's a great point actually, because it not only two distinct sounds, but two people who look at Pusha T as a completely different artist. You know what I mean? So facts. I feel like they could have come together. You know, I feel like on a Jay album, the Neptunes know who Jay is and Ye know who Jay is, so they can do that. But it seems like with Push, the you know, and no pun intended, the push to have him as a upper tier artist. And I feel like that's a little bit of an archaic thinking by Pharrell, to keep it real. In 2022, you know what I mean? I feel like you could be Benny or Conway and still be one of the most popping guys. So I do feel like that caused an issue as far as cohesiveness in the album. I think we all kind of said this was way less cohesive than we thought. Not only from Daytona standards, but just clip standards, Pusha T albums in the past. Like, that's one of the better things about him. You know, along with a couple other artists, maybe Kendrick or something, that all of their albums, they lock in. You know what I mean? You have to listen to all of the tracks. You feel me? So I agree. I feel like maybe Pharrell was tired of watching Ye and Push move around like a unit, like Puff and Big. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, we got to get you in some boat shoes real quick, up your level. I don't know. But yeah,
dancing all in the videos.
Yeah, you know, that is a good point. You know, and while cohesiveness was an issue on the first listen, I hadn't really put that together, but that is the truth.
And to add to that point, in today's day and age, in 2022, like, everything is being done via email. Here, I'll send you this beat. You throw your vocals on it. I got the feature coming in. Throw the feature on there. So, like, if Kanye and Pharrell had, you know, been in the studio together with Push, maybe they would have meshed a little bit better. But the way things are done today is like Pharrell sends you a beat, then Kanye sends you a beat, and it's like two completely different vibes. They're not like, you know, they're not in the same space together. So, you know, it's just gonna be, you know, not, you know, physically and, you know, mentally and creatively. So, so yeah, that's what leads to that issue.
And I'll say this with Kanye, he's such a control freak that by adding the Neptunes into the equation, the way because Kanye albums, if nothing else, they'll always sequence beautifully. You know what I'm saying? By adding the Neptunes into that equation, it takes that control aspect away from Ye, where Ye can say, put this song here, this and that, because he has to account for a whole other big name producer, another control freak producer in that mix who wants he wants his beats and his songs where he feels, because he has more history of Pusha, this should go here, that should go there. Then you have a creative conflict. We might never hear about that, but you can tell from listening to this project that there's a creative conflict there. You know what I mean?
Might have been a lot of smoke in that room, man.
Absolutely.
During them conversations.
I guess we can't rate it right now. We're gonna come back to this on the big pod, and we'll give it an official score. But just for the listeners who might not, you know, they might not have caught it, they wasn't paying attention. Deanie, fire or nah right now, or somewhere in between?
It's in between. As of right now.
Mace.
Fire.
Sin.
I'm gonna say in between, leaning towards fire. Yeah. And just real quick, shout out to Bugs the Beast. He had co-production on Just So You Remember and Hear Me Clearly, two of my favorite joints on the album.
Okay.
They're credited more to Kanye, but as we know, you know, he be having, you know, other people do his beats sometimes.
You know what I'm saying.
And just throw his name on it. So Bugs
the
Beast,
shout out to you, as you told us about earlier.
88 Keys, yeah.
I'll say it's fire, but fire because it's Pusha T. I don't think he's capable of not making fire, but we expect more. This is not a good fire. We came in one in a classic. We came in one in album of the year, and we didn't get album of the year. And with Pusha T, you know, it's April still, but with Pusha T not delivering album of the year, it leaves a vessel open for album of the year sometime around May 13th, when a certain somebody via PG Lang, that certain somebody being Kendrick Lamar, announced earlier in the week that his new album, his final TDE album, is on the way.
Let's go.
Sincere the Rap Snob. We've been talking bad about your boy.
I felt it in the force. I've been told y'all from deep. It took a little bit, longer than I thought. But I told y'all like many episodes ago, I'm like, I feel it in the force. He's coming to save the game, yo. But anyway, yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, out of the four of us, I'm the big, the big Kendrick stan. I'll throw that label on myself. I don't care.
We ain't taking it from you.
He's
not.
he's never disappointed, as we all know. He's never disappointed, and we talk a lot about in the streaming era, the art of making full, cohesive, big epic albums is kind of lost in the mix because everybody's going for the short, and the streams and the put this song on the playlist. Is it playlist ready and stuff like that? So, but Kendrick, we know that he's made masterful albums. He's one of the GOATs in terms of making full, cohesive albums front to back. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Dini, you've been the most skeptical.
Well, when I hear it, I'll hear it, my G.
Wow.
When I hear it, I'll hear it.
Also, let me just because I know people are going to be talking about Mr. Morale and the what is it, the Hot Steppers?
Big Steppers, I thought
Big
it was.
Steppers. Well, what I mean? Like right off the title already, off rip, I know I have a very strong feeling that this album is going to go left. And a lot of people is not going to be happy about that. They're going to want maybe like something that's more along the lines of Damn. I think this is going to be more leaning towards the To Pimp a Butterfly side of him. And I already hear I could already hear the chatter like, this is too left. What's all this? Like, the jazz and the funk and it's going to be right up my alley. Right off the title, I could already tell.
Mace.
Interesting. Sin already giving caveats about why we're not gonna like the album.
Because I know y'all.
When it drops, it drops.
May 13th. Sad day, man. Rest in peace to Kendrick jokes on the Rap Roundtable, bro. Yeah. Like that's like 95% of my material. I'm gonna have to get a writer after that shit drops.
Switch up the format. I mean?
So I'm a little upset about that. But I'll make of course Kendrick dropping. Come on now, of course we excited. Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, terrible fucking title. But I said the same thing about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? So who knows what we're getting when it comes to, these eccentric artists. But I'm hyped Kendrick is coming back, low key. You know what I mean? I mean, Push dropping, Benny dropping, and now we got Kendrick dropping, bro. I mean, what's that? This year has been incredible. I feel like we might have a Jade release down the line since all the heavy duty lyricists are dropping this year. But I don't have anything that I think about where it's gonna go, to be honest. Kendrick is one of those guys that you can't really predict what his next album is gonna sound like. I would have been wrong on predictions of every one of his albums he dropped when he dropped them. So I expect high quality and I expect somebody who gave a damn about making the record, whether I like it or not. So excited about it for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
he ain't give a damn for 5 years. Yeah. I got 3 words for that man. better be fire. That's it, bro.
I mean, this is a loaded year. We had Benny, Push, Kendrick, Nas coming. That's guaranteed. Hove might drop, right. And probably might get Cole Futures dropping next week. There's a lot moving. Aubrey might want to give us a little Lucy at some point. Like not a fake disc, but like an actual Lucy or an album at some point.
And, and I know y'all not as tapped in, but let's not gloss over new Black Star album. Most definitely back in the mix.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so then back to you might get Rome Street. That's gonna drop. You might get a Stove God album. You got a lot of things.
Black Star's a big deal, man. Black Star's a big deal.
Pardon
Produced by Madlib.
Yeah,
big deal.
But to this Kendrick album, I think I don't agree with Sin. I think that this is going to be a continuation of sorts of Dan, where he kind of found that sweet spot in between commercial appeal and critical acclaim. I don't think he's ever going to go back to Pimp a Butterfly, because as much as there's certain segments of people love that album, Sin, it almost scared off a lot of his fans. That's damn happened because of the Pimp a Butterfly. He was like, I was wild. I went too left. Come back, guys. I still make this kind of music. And I think that this next album, because I'm not going to say that long-ass title, this next album is going to be the continuation, because you know what I think that the theme of this album is going to be, y'all? Y'all had a chance. I gave y'all 5 years. The big steppers in the room now. Get out the way. Aubrey, you failed. The Griselda guys, you tried. J. Cole did a hell of a job. Push, you failed. I'm here right now. Get out the way. And if you think I'm done, I still got Schoolboy on the flank. I got my cousin on the other flank. This is my final TDE output. I'm going out with a bang. PG Lang is going to be on top. And I'm excited for the tape. If nothing, the album, excuse me. If nothing else, to Sin's point, to put a bow on this, Kendrick doesn't miss. It might be some creative chance taking, but as far as album for album, there's no misses in that catalog. So it's gonna be some fire, y'all. Dini is gonna be some fire.
Look, we'll see when we see.
Damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Rap Round Table. Push's album is out. We kind of like it. We kind of don't. Talk to us in the comments. Talk to us in the chat. Let us know what you think. Episode 45 is coming real soon. Episode 44 is out right now. Make sure you tap in with that. And we'll talk to y'all real soon. Peace.
Yeah.
All right, later, y'all. Yes, sir.